We are here to talk about two things. So first of all, this morning we're going to talk about Launchpad. Has anyone here, or is anyone here familiar with the tools that are in Launchpad and have been using it? Somewhat? Okay. So some of this might be a really good refresher for some of you. Others, it's going to be a really good eye-opener in terms of what it is you have at your fingertips. This afternoon session, we're going to be talking about LeadStreet. LeadStreet's our newest tool that's there to replace what we had before, FiveStreet, which was our lead generating platform. But LeadStreet is so much more than just a lead generating platform. It's a CRM as well, which I get really excited about when I talk about CRMs because I'm a CRM geek. So I personally believe everyone should be using one. But what I'll do is I'll give you my feedback, my opinion on how to use these tools. And again, if it helps you, great. If not, you can ignore me. My wife ignores me all the time, so I'm totally used to that. But before we actually get started, I wanted to first introduce who I am. Has anyone suffered through any of my courses in the past? Oh, excellent. Okay, where is he? There he is, Mr. Waterfront. Hey. He's my stalker, by the way. So I apologize if this is a review for some of you, but what I want to do is introduce myself to those who don't know me, because I always find it important that whomever it is that's standing in front of you should really have some knowledge and expertise, maybe some experience in terms of what they're teaching. So before we get on, who is this guy? Well, let me tell you, I spent 13 years at a little company called Bell. You guys know it? Yeah. Okay, great. I was a sales and marketing manager there. That's my professional background, sales and marketing. I spent 12 years longer than I should have at Bell, only because I discovered very, very early that I have this knack for customer service. So that was always my passion, to get back into real estate, or to get into real estate and, again, just grow my career that way. Bell would never let me go. I tried. Then I finally was able to leave. I spent 10 years as a real estate professional. My last trade director deal was about 2 years ago, so I'm fresh off the kitchen table. So I do have your experience. I've lived your life from down here to here to here, back to here, back to here, back to there. So I know what you guys are going through. So in the last, let's say, 5 or 6 years of me being licensed, I started writing courses in real estate because I basically took all the courses I taught in marketing and sales and I turned them into a real estate focus. And that's where a lot of my career ended up going in the last, let's say, 5, 6 years of me being licensed. I started coaching and training and consulting in real estate. And then a little company called Trev hired me. You guys know Trev? So what they did was they said, can you do what you do just for us? So I started writing courses for Trev. And then I also taught at the Durham board and the Barrie board. And then Remax picked me up about a year and a half. So I miss trading every day. I wish I still could. My license is just parked. But hopefully someday soon you and I can sit across each other from the kitchen table. So any questions, comments, rude remarks? We good? All right. Okay.
Give her time.
Give her time. All right. So just a really fun fact before we get started. There's a London-based real estate advising company called Savills. And they tallied up all the value of real estate in the entire world. This is a global number. Anyone want to take a guess at what that number is? There's no right or wrong here. Take a guess. No guesses?
5 trillion.
You're very close. 217 trillion. You got the trillion right. So $217 trillion is the global value of all real estate in the world as of, I believe it was maybe 6 months ago when I got this number. 75% of that is made up of residential real estate. Just to put it all into perspective, how much gold do you think has been mined in the world as of today, U.S. denomination? 100 trillion? Close. 7.5 trillion. Okay? So when you look at the amount of gold ever mined versus the amount of real estate that's in the world, you guys are in a pretty good industry. All right, so serious fact though, so that's our fun fact. Here's our serious fact. And we're going to talk a lot about this when we talk about LeadStreet this afternoon. So more on a serious note, follow-ups. Look at the top two lines. 48% of people never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople make a second follow-up and stop. Look at where all the deals are made. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. So, I just want you to remember this because when we talk about Lead Street later, I want you to understand that that tool is there to help you create more consistent and efficient contact strategies with the people that are in your database. Right? All right, so we went through our fun fact, we went through our serious fact, which again, our serious fact we'll talk a little bit more about later. Let's get into Launchpad. So here's our agenda for today. So we're going to talk about goal setting, we're going to talk about websites, RE/MAX University resources, learning and development. We will talk about Lead Street this afternoon. I've taken the Lead Street portion out of this Launchpad presentation because a lot of it is duplicated this afternoon. So we will talk about Lead Street then. Talk about Canada Post, Max Center, URL Shortener, RE/MAX Design Center, and CMN. Now there's a lot here. I don't expect that you're going to remember everything. What I'd like for you to do is remember what is important for you in your business. So if you find that Design Center is really important for you, then I want you to remember what we talked about today. But there's always videos that are supporting everything that you need in RE/MAX University. Okay, so take some notes, follow along. But again, the idea for today is to have you understand what is at your fingertips. And you can always get follow-up instruction in the videos in RE/MAX University. All right, so first of all, if you haven't logged into Launchpad before, the login is launchpad.remax.com. So if you want to follow along, please go ahead. Have you all logged into Launchpad in the past? Yeah. Who has never logged into Launchpad? If you've never logged into Launchpad, okay, then I'll show you how you're going to do that. But Launchpad was designed to be the one-stop shop for everything you need RE/MAX related. In terms of tools, okay, services, I'll go through all of that in a second. There is something that I need to tell you. Our tech team has told us, please make sure you remind everybody that Launchpad works best with Chrome and Safari. If you're using Internet Explorer or you're using Firefox, then you might not have the smoothest experience with Launchpad. So please do your best and try and use either Chrome or Safari when you're accessing Launchpad. Is anyone here using anything other than Chrome or Safari? Well, you're more than welcome to. I'm just telling you, with Launchpad, you get a smoother experience.
Does it work with DuckDuckGo?
DuckDuckGo? Oh, that I'm not familiar with. I know what it is, but that's the very first time I got that. Pardon me?
It can't be traced by the
Yeah, it's a core search, right? Like, I know exactly what that is. But but it's also slower.
Okay.
Like DuckDuckGo is a lot slower. Any of those other browsers that are not mainstream, like what you see up on the screen, they tend to offer around slower. All right, so Launchpad. You would access it by this screen. So launchpad.remax.com, you end up on this screen. Type in your email address at the top. Now, this is important. So again, does anyone here not ever logged into Launchpad? Because I have to explain this. You have to use the email address that you provided to the brokerage. So here's what I mean by this. You sign on to the brokerage, and at the time you're doing your paperwork, you give them the email that you currently have, which is johnsmith@gmail.com. Then, 3 weeks later, you get a custom email, and johnsmithhomes@johnsmithhomes.com. You forget to tell the brokerage. You're using the new email, but the brokerage still has your old email. This is what RE/MAX has on file. So you're always going to use what RE/MAX has on file. And then what you do is you click Forgot Password. And when you click Forgot Password, the system will email to that email that you just put up there a link that you will access Launchpad for the first time. Now, if you haven't logged into Launchpad in 6 months and you really don't remember your password, just click Forgot Password, the same process happens. A link will be sent to your email, and then you just follow those steps, and then you'll access Launchpad again just by changing your password. Now your password has to be 8 characters, including 1 number. Okay. So once you access Launchpad, you're going to see these four widgets. These columns, I call them columns, but technically call them widgets. So this is where you guys should be right now, if you're following along. What I want to focus on is, again, of the 4, okay, you've got your My Apps, My Tools, My Goals, My Tools, My Goals, My Feeds, and Leads and Listings. Up at the top, you're going to see something called More. More is really just a link that explains navigational tips on how to navigate through Launchpad. But here, let's focus on this column here, this widget. It's called your My Goals widget. So what you want to do is you want to first create something that will motivate you to reach your business goals for the year. Because I think most of you would have created a business plan for 2019. That includes transaction goals, income goals, commission goals maybe, right? But here's where you're going to input the summary of those goals. So the first thing you're going to do is select the city that you want to be ranked in. So if you haven't done this already, you're more than welcome to follow along. In this case, it says Mississauga. I live in Mississauga. Now I'm not actively practicing, so this is a friend of mine, it's her account. But the reason why you can choose the city is because sometimes people choose a brokerage that's outside of where they live. I know a lot of RE/MAX agents who live in one city and choose to practice or choose to have an office in another city because they like the people there. So choose the city you want to be ranked in. And we're going to talk about the word ranked in a second. Next, what you're going to do is you can set your income goal. If you have a history with RE/MAX, what will happen here is every year there's going to be an increase of 5%. It's going to be a default. And the reason why they do that is they just want to get you started with something. That's all, right? If you like that 5% increase as a default, leave it. If you think it's too high, change it. If it's too low, change it. You have all the control over what you want this to be. But we just wanted to give you some kind of a starting point. And then here's your income goal. Sorry, not your income. Yes. Hi.
Hi. My ranking city won't let me change provinces. Is there something about
No, because you're already in the province.
But it says New Brunswick and it won't let me leave New Brunswick.
New Brunswick? You guys say New Brunswick? No?
Just me?
That's can you see it after? Because I wouldn't mind seeing that. I've never seen that before. They're putting you in New Brunswick?
New Brunswick.
I gotta see this, guys.
And I tried searching, like, to try to change it. I tried clicking it.
There's always one, right?
I know.
No, it's okay. Where?
And then
Ranking city. Oh,
I tried to change.
no, so just go.
That's what I couldn't change it.
Okay, we will follow that up after. Okay? All right, next what you're going to do is set your average sale price. Your average sale price is basically the product that you work in, or the area that you work in, or the consumers that you work with. So if you work with just first-time buyers, then you've got an average sale price typically for that. If you work only with condominiums, there's an average sale price for you there. So basically take your business and then put the average sale price that you've got for your business here. Then down here you're going to set your percent for commissions that you hope to earn. Now whenever I talk commission, it's always for illustrative purposes only. Alright? I don't say that you have to charge this. And we all know that there is no standard commission that you have to charge. There might be a brokerage policy for cooperating agents, but for what you charge, it's all you. So what you do is you take your average commission that you earned for 2018, you look at it and you say, am I happy with this? And if you are, put it here for 2019. If it's something you want to improve on, put the improved number in there as well. Okay? However, keep in mind that if you want to increase your average sale price, or if you want to increase your average commission earned per deal, you really can't just put the numbers in without taking some sort of class to help you do that with your listing presentations, or with your buying presentations, or even role play how to address certain scenarios at at the kitchen table when they say to you, well, I know someone who'll do it for 1%. What can you do for me? How do you react to that? So again, that's a different class I teach, but basically this will allow you to set your commission, your average sale price, and once you've done that, it'll spit out the number of ends you need to meet your goal. Now, once you've done this, click Save. And then, going forward, when you log in, you should see this color wheel. Now, the color wheel is just an indication, it's a visual indication of where you are to your goals. It's tracking you throughout the year. Now, if you have any issues with your goals being updated or your transactions being updated, then contact support at remaxintegra.com and just let them know, what issues you're having with goal tracking, and they should investigate it for you.
Should it
Hi.
reset right now for 2019? Because I'm still in last year's.
Yeah, mine all came out for last.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
they all
Yeah,
came
yeah.
in 2018.
Yeah, it should have reset. If it doesn't reset for January, it'll likely reset for February. I'll tell you why. Because the 2018 numbers just kicked in middle of this month, right? So the way it works is the middle of current month tracks the full previous month. So right now, middle of the month would have been, well, we kind of just passed the midway point, which would have taken into account all of December.
So they're probably.
So they're probably just a little bit delayed. So again, if you don't see a change in February, then support at remaxontario.com. Okay. All right. So these are your key performance indicators, and if you want to see them all on one screen, look below. You'll see a button called Dashboard. If you click Dashboard, you'll see everything on a screen. Now, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm just going to walk around and see what you guys see. Click Dashboard. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So you just see the color. You just see the color wheels for things like your total commission, your total volume, total ends, average sale price. Remember when I told you that it ranks you? Hey, we're going to get into that in a second, but this will also tell you where you are to certain RE/MAX awards levels. So if you look at the top, you'll see this particular screenshot, this particular person. When I took this screenshot, it was just one deal they had under their belt. The first level of RE/MAX awards is Executive Club. So their first deal was $8,900, so they're $4,100 away from Executive Club. Once you hit Executive, it starts tracking you now to 100% Club, and then it starts tracking you to Platinum. So every time you hit an awards level, it just tracks you to the next one. So it's a really good way to keep you motivated. Now here's where the rankings kick in. The rankings are all confidential. I just have to repeat that over and over again because people seem to think that people are going to know where they rank. No one knows where you rank except for you. Okay? So in this case, it ranks you for your office, for your brokerage, for your city, for your province, and for all of Ontario, Atlantic Canada. So this example here shows that this person was ranked number 16 out of 37 for their office in terms of commission average. And then if you go across, you'll see they're ranked 29 out of 106 in their brokerage. So it'll rank you, again, confidentially. Should you want to, I get this question all the time, John, if I happen to be number one in Ontario, Atlantic Canada, can I advertise that I'm number one in Ontario, Atlantic Canada? You can with a whole lot of qualifiers. Because keep in mind, you're bound by WICO advertising guidelines. So you're only number one in RE/MAX Ontario Atlantic, in the Ontario Atlantic family, so you're not number one across all real estate professionals in Ontario Atlantic Canada. And keep in mind there's this time frame of when you were number one. Okay? So again, I would probably not want to use this for advertising purposes. So knowing what I know about who's been fined and having taught RECO stuff in the past, I would just keep it as a motivator. Any questions, comments about the goal setting? We good?
I have a question.
Sure.
On my iPad, and it won't show up like all of the goals and the leads, like all four.
Oh, that's because you zoomed too far in. You gotta zoom out. Does that help? No? Where you, yeah. Sorry, oh, you go like this? There's gotta be a few. Okay, so I'll show you that afterwards. So the question up front, and this is a question that comes up all the time. If you don't see the four columns, it's likely because you're zoomed too far in. Hey, I'll help you fix that in a second. You just gotta adjust your zoom. Now I don't know every piece of technology out there, but there might be a piece of technology where it won't allow you to adjust your zoom. So all you gotta do is just scroll up. Because as you scroll, you'll just see the other two widgets. Okay. All right. So moving on. Now it's gonna fall, isn't it? Let's talk about the widget on the left, which is your My Tools widget. So again, some people might see 4 tiles, some people might see 6. It's all dependent on how you're zoomed into your screen. It does max out at 6 tiles. As you can see, this particular person favorited the brokerage and support tile, design center, exclusive listing manager, which by the way is no longer effective, and then lead street. Now, if you favorite more than 6, let's say, if you're zoomed all the way out where you can see 6, if you favorite 7, then it just goes to page 2. Okay? Now, the reason why you want to favorite tiles is because if you're constantly using the same ones over and over again, then you want to make sure it's readily available to you once you hit this screen. So, if you can do me a favor and just click on the blue App Store button at the bottom, okay? You'll be taken to the productivity suite of tiles. Okay? So you'll see some of these tiles have a hollow heart and some of them have a solid heart. If you want to favorite a tile, just click the heart and it ends up here. Okay? So if it were me actively practicing today, I would probably favorite Lead Street. I'd likely favorite Design Center. I'd likely favorite Resources. Okay? But again, it's totally up to you in terms of what it is you use. So, if you can do me a, oh, by the way, there's these little buttons at the top. So, you guys have a scroll bar to your far right. If you scroll down, you'll scroll down to the marketing and lead management section of tiles and products and services. So if you want to just take a shortcut to where that is, just click the button. Okay? Here you'll see in lead management we've got all these vendors that you can get a subscription for. Now, Remax works with a lot of vendors, and we try to make sure we provide you with enough variations that you can get the product at a discounted rate. So in this case, you'll see Exact Contact is 20% off. Top Producer has a particular discounted rate. Visit this regularly to see who we include as a vendor partner. And then of course Canada Post. Anyone here use the Canada Post program? Yeah, you get down to like 9.5 cents. For the most basic unaddressed mail, you can get down really low in terms of cost. And it's pretty straightforward. We are going to talk about Canada Post towards the end of the Launchpad presentation. I just want to show you how you can actually apply it. Okay. And then here, brokerage and support. If you click on the brokerage and support tile, you're going to end up on the brokerage and support page, where if you have any issues with any issues with any of the tools, click on this link and you can log in a ticket for them to respond to and then try to resolve your problem. If you look to your bottom right, there's a help button. Bottom right of the screen, sorry. Bottom right of the screen, there's a help button. That help button takes you to the same page. But sometimes you'll see that help button say chat. If it says chat, it means that someone on the support desk is ready to receive your query within 20 seconds of you clicking that. Okay? But yeah.
You have to go into it.
No. Actually, we can get into it. It's actually been pulled out for now, and I'll tell you why. Because of Lead Street. Because our support team manages Ontario, Atlantic Canada, and the US regions. So right now we're inundated with Lead Street queries that we have to pull out this help button. I really don't know why they did that. I'll be very honest with you, because on this slide, I take a picture of this if I were you. People are just sending emails anyways to support@remaxintegra.com. So the fact that the help button's not there, it doesn't mean anything. Just send them an email, right? The other thing is you can text them. So text that number, 647-691-0526. That just came out in October. Okay? So that's a new way you can reach out to our support group. Okay? Now, keep in mind, guys, I am going to send you this slide deck, this one and the Lead Street one this afternoon. As long as I have, did someone take attendance, by the way? No? Okay. Okay. The most important person's here and your soccer. But if you leave me your business card, I'll send you this deck, both decks, right? Now, here's how you get support. MassHelpsYou.com is a really good way to access support as well. If you can't even access Launchpad to go to the support tile, just type MassHelpsYou.com into your URL browser, and you will get support. You will end up on the support page. All right. Now, Remax University. Remax University, I mentioned earlier that it's a place you can go to get additional support. Now, where our support group is Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Remax University is available to you whenever you want. It's just a tile. But within there, if you click on it, you'll access a bunch of learning guides. So if you're brand new, you can click on to the left of the screen, new to Remax, okay, or new to real estate. And then you can again determine what you want or what you need. There is one thing you can choose here if you wanted to. It's called Take Flight. And Take Flight, the online version is $50. There's a in-class version, which is I think it's $2.99, I believe. But the in-class version is a whole lot better because you learn from the group, right? We all know what computer learning is like, right? Who here's taking the MEC recently? Oh no, yeah. The education credits. That's all done online, right?
Okay.
Yeah, how much do you learn?
You mean like the RICO?
Yeah, the RICO.
Course that we-
Yeah. They'll likely bring those back to the class versions.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the key to using Remax University, though, I'll be honest with you, so again, these are little tricks that I've discovered that I think work best for efficiency, is just go right to the search bar. So if you can all do me a favor and go to the search bar, type in Lead or Lead Street, okay? And then you'll see a bunch of videos just pop down. The first video is what? What is it? I'm sorry?
Agent webinars.
Is that the first video?
Agent webinar.
Yeah, the first video should be Agent Webinar January 2019. It should be the first video, all right? Okay, so I want you guys to remember that video because I just recorded that for Lead Street, and when we talk about Lead Street this afternoon, I'm going to continually reference this webinar because Lead Street doesn't have to be complicated, but there's only one section that I'm going to explain, and you're all going to want to throw darts at my face. And it's how to import your multiple contacts. I'm going to preempt this right now. But I'll explain it this afternoon, and I still want you guys to look at it on the video. It's at the 26th minute of the video. So just move the bar over to 26 minutes, and you can hear it all again.
Just so you know, the video can't be played.
Pardon me?
This
The video can't be played.
It can't be played? That's odd. I just played it. Like I played it last night. So
No.
All of us.
I'm wondering if it's
Yeah, it could be.
It's going to be because of this. Because we've got about 30 people on the internet right now. So, but trust me, it's there. I saw it. You can play it. Okay? It's there. I also want you to type in Design Center. So take out Lead Street and type in Design. Okay? Because we are going to talk about Design Center as well, and I want you guys to know where you can go and get additional support for Design Center. When you type in Design, again, the videos will pop down. The Design Center overview is probably the best one you're going to watch to make sure that you can get a really decent overview of how to use Design Center. You can watch some of the other stuff in here, Design Center, Micromarket Automation, all that other stuff, but the overview one is really the only one, in my personal opinion. Okay, so that video is 35 minutes long. It's the longest, it's one of the longer of the videos we have. Outside of my webinar, which is the full hour, that's only because I want to get something up and running quick. All right, I'll piece up Lead Street later on. Now, that's Remax Integra. All you gotta do is type whatever you feel you need in the search bar. Sorry, Remax University. Type what you feel you need in the search bar, and the videos will start to populate. All right, now here's what I want to do. I want to talk to you guys about something really important. That's your agent profile. So, if you guys can go back to the widget, widget page, if you will, by clicking, if you can find it, the Launchpad icon, or click back, or go to your tabs across the top, and just somehow get back to here. Okay? And if you're there, you'll see on the top right corner, you'll see a 3-line hamburger menu. We call it a hamburger menu because it looks like a hamburger. And then click that. And walk around. You're going to see your face, and then you're going to see update profile. Who here has updated their profile already? Great. Now, keep in mind that first impressions are no longer, what's your name? It's no longer just me meeting Sylvia for the first time, shaking her hand, saying nice to meet you. A first impression used to be see that. But a first impression in today's world is now what people find of you online. Okay? They want to see whether or not you've got a legitimate business, they want to see what you do. First impressions, again, are what they see of you online. So I'm begging you all, this is actually your homework number 1, please have a robust Remax.ca profile. So we're going to review what you've got right now, but this is how you input all your information into your profile. So click Update Profile, and you're going to end up on this page. Now this page here has got 4 tabs above your photo. It's got Home, Edit Profile, Edit Photo, and Log Off. If you don't have a photo, then you can upload your photo from here. Just open up that 3rd tab. But if you can do me a favor and click Edit Profile, you'll see this. Now I've whitened out all of the fields because this is an actual profile, but please fill in as many of these fields as you possibly can, because much of this information will show up on your Remax.ca profile. So when someone Googles you, or they go through the Remax.ca platform and find an agent, if they end up on your page, you want it to be robust. Right? Now Remax spends a lot of money on SEO, search engine optimization, to make sure that if someone Googles your name in real estate, you're in the top 3. Okay? Maybe top 5, but definitely somewhere up in the top 5. Okay? You can try it now. Don't try it now. Try it later on if you want. Google your name, and then see where you end up on that Google search result. But please fill this in. Now, this is just the first part of it. If you scroll down, you'll see more, which we will do in a second. But if you want to input your websites, this is something that people tend to just go to these fields and put www.johnsmithhomes.com. You have to follow the examples on the right. It says http:// You have to put that in. Otherwise, it becomes an error message. Now, as you scroll down, you'll see additional information that you can fill in. Things like your service area. Okay? So in this case, this person has Georgetown, Milton, Mississauga, and Oakville as their service areas. You can pick 5. Now this is really important, especially in the world of lead street, because your service areas now will also be part of where you get your leads, okay, which we're going to explain a little bit later. Now you can pick 5. I've only got 4 here because what I want to show you is if you're tired of one service area, just exit out and fill it in with another one. Not every service area is going to be listed on that left side. I'll give you an example. I live in a neighborhood called East Credit. It's not here. Okay, but Mineola is. Mineola is there because it's more popular, right? Even though East Credit's a bigger neighborhood. So just find the ones that are closest to you and pick those. Anyone here get a lead in the world of 5 Street that was so far away you thought, what the heck is this? Okay, we're going to fix that with Lead Street. But the other question I want to ask is, does anyone here work in a deeply rural neighborhood where you have an FSA, which is the first 3 characters of the postal code, forward location address, where the FSA is like an hour drive? Okay, what FSA is that?
LOL or LOS.
LOL, laughing out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys didn't get that. You were just a sad one, wasn't it? So LOL, to start here and to go here is about an hour, right, roughly?
Well, the beginning of it is about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, but it goes
It stretches.
within 45 minutes.
Okay. So what you can do now is you can pick a 5 service areas or a service area within LOL, and you will only get leads from there. So you won't get leads from way up here, you only want leads from here. Okay? That's really effective for people who are working, what's your name? Sorry? Mary. That's really effective for people like Mary who are working in these service areas where, again, you get a lead and the FSA is like an hour away or 2 hours, a 2-hour drive. So you can really focus on where your leads come from. And again, I'll explain more of that when we talk about Lead Street. Continue to scroll down, and what you'll find is where you can input things like a personal bio, input your civic activities, hobbies, things like that. This is really important, I'll tell you why, because they don't even have anything uploaded in terms of bio. As much as we love this balloon, we don't want it to be your face. All right? So please, again, homework number 1, you do your profile. Now, let's just talk about Remax.ca. Actually, any other questions about the profile? Because that is your homework, so I want to make sure. Yep.
Can you make requests to Remax to have a new designation added to the library?
Oh, yeah, we can, yeah, make that request, sure. There's not one there already, or there's not a
CNE is not there.
certified negotiation expert course
Yeah.
not there?
Yeah, yeah.
It is?
It's gotta be there, that's one of the more common ones, yeah.
And the master is there too.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, 'cause I have that in mind. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's.
There's the Canadian version of it, and then there's a US version of it.
Yeah.
So the US version is SRS, I think.
Yeah.
And the SR,
Oh, associates.
no, select. Okay, that we'll have to find. I thought that was there, because it was fine. All right, so when it comes to Remax.ca, I've mentioned this a few times. The reason why we're talking about it now is because we want to make sure that you can use this to your advantage in your listing presentations, right? Or even when you're working with buyers, pointing to Remax.ca. The more people we can push to Remax.ca, the more leads we can forward to you. So Remax.ca was updated April of last year, April 2017, sorry, April 2018. It's now a more mobile-friendly design. Okay? It's more responsive, faster listing distribution, again, higher-performing SEO that includes neighborhood indexing, and a consumer-facing blog. Now, when they built Remax.ca, when they updated it, they didn't sit in front of a monitor and say, "We want to do this, this, and this." They made sure that everything was 100% responsive to this device. Okay? Because we now know that more and more people use this device versus anything else. Or even your mobile, even your iPad or your tablet. But here's just some basic stats. Over 125,000 listings, 10 million plus monthly page views, and it's about 50% mobile traffic. Okay. We have about 9,500 free leads generated from Remax.ca monthly in Ontario, Atlantic Canada. So again, we don't charge you for leads. There are some brokers out there that do, but as long as we can provide you a lead, we hope you can turn it. Okay. Now, do you guys know what Ask Remax is? Okay. Anyone here using Ask Remax? Okay. Are you okay with it? I know there's been a bit of an issue with it sometimes, but yeah. If you're ever having an issue with Ask Remax, please reach out to the support group. I've helped a number of people out with the Ask Remax, only to discover that their profile setting was wrong. Right? So again, just make sure if you have any issues, please don't sit on it. I'm going to play a video for you now about what Ask Remax is, only because I think it's really important that if you're not using Ask Remax, I think you should. Can you click the play? You see it? No? I'll find it for you. Sorry, I'm switching this. Now this is just one of the lead generating tools we have for you. Oh, sorry. Next slide. That's my mistake, sorry.
Hi there, this is a quick demonstration to introduce you to the Ask Remax mobile app and show you how it works. Now the Ask Remax mobile app is an app that lives on your mobile device and it connects directly to your website. It allows visitors and consumers who are taking a look at your listings or IDX listings, etc., to be able to ask a question directly to you, and it is sent to your mobile phone where you can respond instantly. So here you can see I'm on a current Remax listings page, and if you take a look at the bottom right-hand corner, this is what we call a chat widget. Now that is my personal profile picture. My name is Ryan Cavan. On your listings pages, it would be your profile picture naturally. On the right-hand side, this is a mirror image of my iPhone. You might have an Android device. The Ask Remax app supports both those devices. And this is the experience. This is what's going to happen when you receive a chat. You're going to see what happens on my iPhone here, and I'll run you through a quick demonstration of how that all works right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to activate the chat widget on this listings page. Okay, and it pops up and says, do you have a question? I'm online right now, and I'll just submit something fairly generic. Can I come see this property? Okay, I'll hit enter. We always ask for the name of your visitor so that you know who you are communicating with. And then lastly, in case you are unavailable and for nurturing and follow-up, we always ask for an email of the individual. Now just before I hit enter and submit this question, again, I'd like to turn your attention to my mobile phone here. This is the agent experience. This is what you are going to see when someone is on your listings and has a question here. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to go ahead and submit this question right now. Usually takes about a second. and then as you can see, I have a push notification coming. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap on that on my iPhone, and it is automatically going to launch the Ask RE/MAX app. Now, in case I am unavailable or driving, for example, I could choose not right now, but for this example, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer this chat. I'll tap answer, it will load up a chat window, and the consumer, the visitor who's on your listings page, a chat window pops up for them. They can now see that they are speaking with someone named Ryan Cavan. On my mobile device, I have the name of the individual, their email address, the question that they are asking, and this is actually a hyperlink to the listings page itself. You might not remember some of the specific details of that listing, and you can tap on that, take a quick look at the listing itself before responding to any questions here. On my mobile phone, I'm just going to open up the keyboard here, and I'm going to respond to this visitor. I'll hit send, and you can see automatically on the consumer side here, they receive that message. They, of course, can respond as well. Put hello, Ryan. And on my mobile phone, wherever I am, of course, that message comes in instantly. Very similar to current messaging apps that you're probably already using. And now you are obviously connected directly in real time with this consumer, and how this conversation develops and evolves is entirely up to you and the visitor. So it really is that simple. I certainly hope that made sense. And as a final note, I would just like to wish you all luck on using the Ask RE/MAX app. Have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, so again, just one way that we can, we're looking at providing these to you. If you're not currently on Ask RE/MAX and you want to be on Ask RE/MAX, then please download the app. And if you want to receive the original email that was sent out in October of 2017, I believe, support at RE/MAX Integra will send that to you. But they will also provide you support when it comes to the Ask RE/MAX tool itself as well. I know that, again, some people have had issues with it. I was working with one particular lady yesterday, and she says it's not working. So I went onto her listing, I clicked on the Ask RE, and she ended up getting it. So it was working for her. But again, if you're having any issues, support at RE/MAXintegra.com.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
You know, like where you said that like, you're driving or you're busy or you're with clients and it said not right now,
Yeah.
or something like that. I found, and I've gotten feedback from some people where they find that certain wording is too abrupt and send them on to the next person.
Yeah.
Like, and not right now, they feel pushed off. Or I remember, because I have the one that says, can't talk driving, and they're like, well, why were you talking? I'm like, I wasn't, it was a car, I'm driving. So it's just funny, like I just wish that some of the wording was a bit different so the consumer's not feeling that they're being pushed over.
Yeah, I actually, I'm not practicing, so I don't have it, so I know bits and pieces of it, but I know they updated it recently. Is there a way that you can change wording for an autoresponder? There is a way you can change
Yeah, you
wording?
can do custom or you can disable that feature.
Oh, okay. All right, excellent. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, moving on, I want to talk to you about resources. Resources are really cool. So, you can find resources either through the App Store in the Productivity Suite of tiles, or if you go up again to the hamburger menu, and just underneath the Update Profile, you'll see Resources. Click on Resources, and it'll take you to this page that looks like it was straight out of 1975. Not very graphically friendly. But all this to say that it's got tons of information behind it. When I talk about the resources card, think about downloadable. Anything that you need for a listing presentation, for a buyer's presentation, for your own personal marketing can be found here in the resources card. Okay? So the search bar is the easiest way to manipulate this or to navigate through the resources tile. So if you type something in that box, it'll summarize all the different cards, if you will, that it thinks you're looking for. So if you type in listing in there, it'll open up all the different cards that include things that feels you're looking for your listing presentation. But what you can also do is, again, you can look at the buttons at the top and just click the listing presentation button. And again, what it does is it summarizes all the cards that it feels you're looking for. There's a lot in here. We don't have time to go through all of this stuff. What I'm going to encourage you to do, though, is spend 5 minutes every other day, or just if you're on lunch, go to the resources card and just play around with what's in there. There's really no other way to do this other than taking a resources class that we would have to teach, but we don't, right? Because again, it's really quite simple to just navigate through it. But there's tons of infographics in here. There's things that will say RE/MAX versus the industry, RE/MAX versus our competitors in both listings and in buying deals. So, or buying stats. So there really is a lot of information here. So if you click listing presentation, again, it'll take you to all these cards that it feels that you're looking for, you need. There you'll see the marketing and listing presentation card. So if you open that up, you'll see there's the individual listing presentation, and then there's the team listing presentation. And then there's also a luxury presentation as well. It's not shown here, but that's under the luxury card. But the pre-listing pre-listing questionnaire is there as well. It's thinking that you're looking for something to take with you to a listing presentation. So all of this is here. Now, if you open up the listing presentation, I don't know if anyone's ever used the canned listing presentation that's in here, but it's 52 slides. It's all PowerPoint. The truth is, you probably wouldn't use every one of these slides. If you came to my house with a 52-slide listing presentation, I'd probably fall asleep. But the point is, this is here for you to take and do whatever you want with. So my listing presentation, including the CMA, was probably about 25 slides in total, right? But this is content that you can take and manipulate as you see fit. And it also gives you an idea of where to put the infographics. So some of these infographics may be a little bit dated. Just find the newer one inside the resources card and then just replace it. Okay? We do our best to update it as quickly as we can, but if you need something soon and it's not updated, then the graphic has to be in the info card. Or include your own personalized graphic. But again, this here, go through it, take what you want, delete what you don't want, edit the slides that you feel is important, and then pare it down. Yeah, go ahead.
Slides are up on the screen are in portrait, and slides are normally in landscape. Why is that?
You can probably change the setting on this. I haven't tried it. I actually just left it as portrait. And I'll tell you why I left it as portrait. Because every other agent who goes in with a listing presentation, theirs is going to be in landscape, right? This is just me being different. It's a little psychological thing. I'm being very serious, right? Any little thing I can do, right? Yes?
Well, that's also handy for a print presentation too, because that's where it's going to print out properly.
The other thing is what you can do is you can bind this. So instead of it just being in a portrait and stapled in the top corner, you can now bind it and it's now a book, right? So that's what you can do with this. Really quick story about this. There's a new RE/MAX owner on the other side of the world, actually the other side of the province. And I went and spoke with that person, helping them get their brokerage up and running. And I presented a summarized version of this Launchpad presentation, and I showed him this. He almost cried, and I'll tell you why. Because in the time that he spent with his other brokerage and being owner at that other brokerage, he would also compete for listings. And he would see a RE/MAX package at the door, just like what he was doing. He was dropping off a pre-listing presentation or a package. So of course, he opens it up and he scans through it, and he would see something like this. And he said to me, John, I thought that your agents were spending like hours, if not a day, creating this. Because this was so professionally put together that I felt I wasn't going to get the listing. And there were a lot of times I didn't get the listing. You're telling me that it's right there? I said, yeah, it's right there. All they have to do is just edit it and just include or exclude what they want or don't want. But it doesn't take days. You thought, oh my God. My agents now have access to this? I said, yes, it's right there. So again, people look at this and think you've spent days trying to get this up and running, when it's really just something that you can edit. Once you've got the core presentation together, just change it up per seller. All right, now, the other thing I want to show you, when you use the search bar, type in seller. Because this is a really cool seller guide that you can use when you're either going to a listing presentation, or if you've got the presentation, if you've got the listing anyway, and you still need to get more information from your seller, print one of these things out. This is the seller action plan. There's 4 pages here. 6 pages. I'm showing you 3, but it's a little book. That's kind of really cool. Yep. No one. Okay, actually, yes. Oh, temporary. Okay, so yes. You know why? Can you get that there for Rick. Okay, Rick made a really good point, so I thank Rick for this, because I take for granted that you actually know. So sometimes you'll see no resources found. If you look to the left of that box, you'll see an arrow key that points up or points the other way. What you have to do is you have to get out of one section of the resources card and go back to like the main section. Okay, so that's what you have to do. So if you see no, whatever that was, no content found or no resources found, just go to the arrow key and then flip back out of that section. Okay, so thank you very much for that, Rick. So you'll see there's a seller card. The other thing that you can do is now, again, go back out. You might have to hit that arrow to go back to the main section and type the word buyer. There's a buyer version of this as well, which really cool.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a way to actually look at the document instead of having to download it?
Yeah, no, I tried. No, just downloaded everything just to make it. Because you can download, you can open it or you can download all, right? So I just download all, and then what I do is I open it up as an icon in my view, so I can actually see the icon. I know what you're saying, but you kind of have to download it. Yeah.
So what's the difference between a 15-second and 30-second? What does that mean before we download all my stuff?
Oh, well, they're not so.
I'm not sure.
It's not heavy in terms of megabytes. So,
Like, you see what it says there, 15, 30?
oh, just videos. Yeah, they're just videos.
Oh, so
Those are videos.
that you can just send to your seller?
Yeah, yeah. Those are videos. Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So, pardon me. Sorry. Now, that's the resources card. So you'll see I get really excited about it because you can create so many different things from what you have at your fingertips. It's just a matter of understanding where they are. So here's the thing about all this. People say I don't have time to look at all this. And I get it. I get that we're busy. I've lived your life. Okay? But again, if you're sitting there at lunch and you just want to go through some stuff, that's a good opportunity for you to do that. If you're closing out your day and you're sitting in your family room or you're watching TV and your kids are asleep, take 5 minutes again and go through the resources card. Right? It's just a matter of you understanding where the tools are. Now, the next thing I want to point out is regional blog, because there's additional content here. The regional blog, tons of shareable content for you and your clients. There's the market share reports, there's branded images for social media, competitive intelligence for listing presentations, and of course the quarterly market reports that you can also share on your social media. So it's all there in the regional blog.
Well, so you found regional blog back under the hamburger again?
The hamburger menu, yeah. Oh, no, in the tile. Go to the tile. So go back to the Launchpad, the App Store. Okay. But that's a good point. I actually want to let you guys know a little cheat that I do. To access that regional blog, I don't even go through Launchpad anymore. I bookmarked blog.bestagent.ca. So if you just type in blog.bestagent.ca in the URL bar and you click enter and just bookmark, you'll always get to the same spot. And the reason why I do this is because I click on the events link all the time. But sometimes I don't want to go through Launchpad. So this way I go directly to this page without having to go through it. So blog.bestagent.ca gives you direct access to all this information. Now, again, you see where it says events? I click on that on a regular basis because I want to see what RE/MAX has going on. Not just learning events, but social events, remixes, certification courses, things like that. Okay. If you click on events, it takes you to the exact same place that the events tile in Launchpad would bring you. So here are all the events that are happening. Actually, no, this is older. So June, yeah, this was last year. But this again will tell you where the courses are, what's happening in terms of webinars, RE/MAX Integra corporate events, even just RE/MAX LLC events as well. Now, if you go back to the home page of blog.bestation.ca and you go to the search bar, type in market share, then what you'll do is you'll end up on this page here, where you'll see the most recent market share report. Am I right? Did I see it? Just click read more. And then it opens up a page where you just scroll down. So it'll open up this, and then as you scroll down, you can see these grids where you can just either pick either your Ontario region or your Atlantic Canada region, find the city you want the market share reports for, and then you can print them and take them to your listing presentation. Or if you're working with a buyer, let your buyer know. Because market share reports aren't only for sellers. Just keep that in mind. Market share reports are also for buyers because it indicates days on market. It indicates things like how sellers are willing to negotiate and the likelihood of a buyer's market. So keep in mind, market share reports are for both sellers and buyers. Just how you interpret them. Yep.
Why is it that Keller Williams says they're the biggest real estate company in the world?
Because they lie.
They are. No. We don't have the #1 agent count. Keller Williams does. What we have is the #1 volume as RE/MAX.
Oh, so
let Keller Williams brag about them being the biggest real estate company. However, the other truth is they're not the most recognized real estate company in the world. RE/MAX is. If you took the RE/MAX out of that balloon and you just left the balloon, what is that synonymous of?
Real
It's
estate.
the same thing as you've seen the Golden Arches. You don't have to read McDonald's. What's the check mark? What's that icon with the check mark? Nike. You don't have to see Nike. You don't have to see RE/MAX to know that that balloon means RE/MAX. So Keller Williams is the largest, but they're not the most recognized. They're not the most successful.
But they have the most agents.
They have the most agents. We have I believe we have 120,000 worldwide. But we've done, the last number I saw, 2017, we were somewhere around 318 billion in real estate transactions. Okay. So yeah, I don't mind that Keller brags about that. What I do know, from a branding perspective, is RE/MAX actually dominates the real estate industry from a brand awareness perspective and volume. All right, so moving on. Here's an example of, sorry.
Status added for Innisfil.
Oh, Innisfil's not there? Okay. If you don't, what's the closest thing to Innisfil? And if it's not there, again, send me an email. I'll do my best to see if they can add it. Here's what I do know. What I do know is our marketing team and our communications team, they are looking at the missing cities and they are trying to include them. The issue is getting the data. Because right now, that's basically coming from CREA, right? But we don't just want CREA numbers. I'm sorry, not CREA. That's coming from TREP. What we want is the actual CREA numbers. So that's what they're looking at right now. We want everything, yeah. And they're just having a bit of an issue trying to get that data to a point where they're comfortable presenting it. But they are working on cities that aren't there. I just had that meeting with them before, actually just recently in the new year. Yes? Here? Oh, all I did was in the blog.bestation.ca search bar, I just typed in market share report, just market share, and then click enter. The search bar at the top, right? That's right. Q3 is the most recent, so what's your name? Justin made a good point. Q3, wait. Yes, Q3 is still the most recent. Yeah. All right, so moving on. Here's just some example of some market share reports that you can pull. Again, either landscape or portrait, depending on how you want to present it. Now what I want to do is get into Design Center. Now, Design Center is really intimidating for a lot of people because of all the things that are in there. But here's what I want to share with you. Once you actually start looking at what you can do in Design Center, you don't need to have 50 different templates. Most people pick 5 templates and just use the same ones over and over again. Okay, so if you can do me a favor and actually before we get there, I want to show you what Design Center can do for you. You can create a digital listing presentation. You can create a single property website. You can create a video home tour the video home tour is really just stitched photos. Okay, that zoom in and out, making it look like it's moving, right? And then of course your marketing campaigns. So things like flyers, brochures, door hangers, all those things. Now, if you go back into your productivity suite of tiles, you'll open up Design Center. Or if you've already favorited it, it's going to be in your My Tools widget. So if you can open this up for me, what I want to do is I want to walk you through. Now, you're probably not going to be able to do all this as we're going through it, but you can follow along as much as you can, really. If you click on Design Center, does this open up for you?
Yeah.
These templates? Okay. So, again, this is where people start to get intimidated because what am I going to do? Really, what do you want to do? Just think about that. Know that you can create a card or you can create an e-newsletter, but if you just want to create a flyer, let's start with flyer. So if you click on flyer for me, okay, you're going to see, if you look at the bottom, now mine is a screenshot, you're going to see page 1 of like 52 or something like that, right? There's 52 different pages, there's 52 pages of flyer templates, which means there's probably thousands of templates. Here's what you have to do to narrow it down. Go to the criteria section up at the top. And the first thing you do is, and this is just my thought process, by the way, your thought process can be very, very different. But my first instinct is, how many images do I want in my flyer? So if you click on photo count, okay, what you see I've done here is I said I want 9+ photos. So if you do that, if you just click 9+ photos, you'll see the number of pages dwindle. Am I right? Yeah. So how many pages you got now? 5, right? Now, I've got 9+ photo count, but what is the purpose of my flyer? So you'll see in task, just listed. So I just click just listed. I'm going to create a just listed flyer. Now, how many pages do we have now? Do we still have 5 pages? Okay, that's fine. Then brand it Remax. So if you go to brand Remax, and that should narrow it down to what I have here. Right? So now you just have to select between 5 templates.
Wow.
So it's not that, like I said, it's not that intimidating. Once you select your criteria, it really narrows things down. So for you to preview 5 templates, it takes no time now. All you gotta do is click on one of them, and then click View Sample. And if you like it, then it says select this design. So if you just do me a favor and just select any one of those designs, okay, I just want to run through just the front half of Design Center for you. Okay, so there's the preview, there's me selecting the design, and then here is where you just have to input some data. Now, the project name. The project name is really simple. I just put the address. That's just me. But again, you can create whatever project name you want. But if your project name is specific enough, you don't have to include any project description. Okay, so the project descriptions, I typically leave blank. Okay. And then when it comes to project folder, I put it into the project folder where I have other projects that are 9+ big templates. So that's what I called it, my 9+ big templates. But I have other project folders called social media. I've got other project folders called door hangers. I've got other project folders called websites. So the project folder is how you sort all of your designs. Okay. Am I right? Is everyone here using Design Center on a regular basis? Am I about right in that? Yeah, okay. So have I basically done what you do?
Yep.
Do you add a project description? Just wondering. I don't know.
It depends. I'm just looking at them here. I've got, sometimes it's the business name like Jimmo's or the address or self-promotions. It all depends what I'm using.
Yeah, but like I said, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me, because my project name is so specific, I typically don't have a description. But what's your name?
Laura G.
But Laura, sorry?
Laura G.
Laura G?
Laura G.
Oh, Lori.
Laura G.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking like Kenny G, like one initial. Now, once you've done this part, what you do is you click save and continue. Now, the rest of this you're not going to be able to do, so just follow along with me. And again, remember when I showed you that Design Center has a great video in RE/MAX University? You can review all of this in that video. And again, you can forward, so you don't have to watch all 35 minutes of it, but you can just sort of click and forward as you see fit. Now, I've got 9 photos, right? Or 9 plus. Let's say I've got 15 photos. People say, yeah, but John, I got to click each one and upload it 15 times. That's too time consuming. No. What you do is you select in your hard drive all 20, 15 or 20 photos and you import them all at once. Import them all at once, and what you can do at this point is move them around. So just move them around. So you don't have to say this has to be 1. Click, upload, and wait. This is 2. Click, upload, and wait. Just upload everything. And then move them around when you're on this part. And so again, it makes it nice and easy. So that's, if you can look at the top of where the photos are, there's a progress bar, if you will, a progress line. So right now you're in the photos section. Once you've saved and continued, once you've saved this, and by the way, if you look at the little icons underneath each image, you can crop the images and you can do some basic editing. Okay? So once you're happy with the order of the photos, and by the way, how do you know which photo goes where? If you look to the left, it tells you photo 1 goes right there. Photo 2 goes right. It tells you exactly where it's going to be placed. Okay? Now, what you do now is you fill out the text template as required. So the next thing you're going to do is just add the text. So what is typically the first disclaimer that you add? Disclaimer 2.
Brokerage.
Not intended.
Who said? Yeah. Not intended to solicit buyers, sellers under contract. Yeah. So that would typically go there. I apologize it's not there, but that typically goes there. Then headline number 1 is just listed, street address, and again, it tells you exactly where it's going. Just fill in the text as required. I want to show you something really cool. If you look at body copy, you see there's a little icon at the top right of the box, just above the word would. That icon is what's called the phrase assistant icon. If you want some assistance in what you think you should be putting in there, click on that, and it'll either show you what you've written before, because it saves that, or give you ideas of what you can do. So it's the phrase assistant. Okay? Now, step 4 is the agent information. Just confirm your agent contact information. Make sure everything's good. Because keep in mind, this is going to print on the actual document. So once you've confirmed that your agent information is correct, you go to this page where you can now preview, edit, or duplicate your project. Preview it first. So click preview, and this is what it looks like. Now, if you're, of course, this is just a couple pages of it, but if you're happy with it, okay, if you're happy with it, then what you can do is you can go to the next step, which the bottom half of that screen is you can publish it to the web, email it to contacts, publish it to social media, or we have a deal with ColorTech where you can email it to them and they can print it professionally. Now, of course, you'd have to pay for that, but that's the only thing you have to pay for. Or you can print it yourself at home. You have a really good color printer at home, print it at home. But this gives you all of your options. So, does this make Learning Design Center a little easier for you guys if you haven't done it yet? Here's what I would do. Homework number 2. If I were you, I would probably just go home and then later tonight, if you're just winding down the night or the day, jump on the Design Center and create a flyer for your own home. Take 5 or 6 photos of your home. They don't have to be professional images. You just right now want to use something as a template to run through a process in Design Center. LJ, can I ask you a question? How long does it typically take for you to create a project in Design Center? Once you have all your photos, you know where everything is?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Maybe 15 minutes at most?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the quickest? That's actually pretty fast, to be honest with you.
Well, because I'll just pick up a template, like I said, you pick up your favorite ones, and you kind of just do it over and over again.
Yep.
It's amazing how much of the verbiage will work for your house, with your house, and the pictures as well. Like so you can do it pretty quick.
So I think it's probably going to take maybe half an hour if you just run through it once. And then maybe 25 minutes a second time. But once you start getting into it, like LJ said, you have your favorite templates. You just keep reusing those. Right. All right, now, the other thing I want to show you is Max Center.
Can
Yes, absolutely, go right ahead.
Can you remove, like, for example, in the seller one, there's a page that's short sale, and I don't know how to remove, let's say you don't need that page, so it's not appropriate. It's on short sales, in the supplier, under the seller's option.
Oh, you mean in the template?
Yeah, so it doesn't seem to be remove the page, is that right?
Yeah, you would be able to. So,
Because this is.
someone's American, actually, yeah, so what's your name? Marianne. Marianne made a good point. So there's some content in there in the templates where it might be more American versus Canadian. So please review that and make sure that you're not using something that, again, doesn't apply to all market. Can you do me a favor and send me an email about that so I can send it to our design center group? The company's called Imprev. And what I've done is I've tried to make sure that our marketing group, especially with the Lead Street email drip campaigns, we've Canadianized as much as we can, and that all the drip campaigns are Canadianized. You can still edit them. But we are still seeing some people say, oh, I found this, it's more American. So send that information to me and I'll forward it to our marketing group. Thank you. Max Center. Max Center, remember when I told you that Launchpad is a single sign-on for all the tools you need? For basically for you to be efficient? I lied to you, so I'm sorry about that. Max Center is the only tile where you require a separate sign-on, and your separate sign-on is your Remax.net email account. So I don't have the screenshot here, but if you click on that, the Max Center for me, you'll see that it requires a separate sign-on. If you know your Remax.net email account, you can put that in there, and if you remember your password, add it, and we'll access Max Center. Who here knows how to access their Max Center? Are you pretty good at it? Okay. If you want to access it now, if you're not at a table, if you have a table, if you're at a table where someone can access it, you can follow along looking at their screen. There's just a few things I want to show you in Max Center that I really like. So keep in mind, I'm explaining all this to you because I like it. If I were actively practicing today, I would be using this stuff. So the thing about Max Center is I would have to say 95% of the content in Max Center you can find in Launchpad, except for this. There's something called the Remax URL shortener. Now, there's tons of URL shorteners out there. They're just not branded Remax. Okay? You can use Bitly, you can use a bunch. Even our own Launchpad program in Design Center has a URL shortener button that says shorten the URL. The only issue with that is, again, it's not branded Remax. They literally just shorten the URL. So what I like about this is you can take any link, and I'm going to run through how to do this, bless you, so that you can take any link, customize it to be what you want it to be. So, first things first, what we've typically seen or done in the past is we've read an article online. It's about mortgage rates and how they're impacting the real estate sector. So what you want to do is you want to take that link, you want to copy it and add it to an email that you want to send out to your people. Am I right so far? Who's ever done that? Anyone? Okay. But the link is that long, right? Sometimes it stretches 2 lines. So what you do is you copy that link. And then you go to Max Center and you click Create Link. And this is the first thing you're going to do. You're going to paste the link in that top right box. And then you're going to click Create Link. And then, oh, by the way, just so you know, the British Columbia CBC News that you see on the left, that's not the link I'm referring. That's the last link I shortened. The new link I'm shortening is from the Toronto Star business section. You'll see it. GTA home prices continue to rise as new listings drop. That's the link I'm going to shorten. Okay, so that's the new one. Click Create Link, and then it shortens it to this. You see it in the green, or I'm colorblind, so whatever color that box is. Green? Excellent. So notice the long URL shortened. Now, what you want to do at this point is click Edit. So as I'm explaining this to you, it seems like a long process, but has anyone ever used this before? No?
I've never signed into this.
Okay. I'm going to show you why this is important to me. Okay? But just follow along if you will. Humor me for now. I'm going to click Edit. And when I click Edit, I can now shorten this to read gram.ax /market sorry, GTA Market Update. That's my new URL that I'm going to take and paste it into my email. Okay? Now, the beauty of this is I can now track, okay, who views my link. Okay? But what I'm going to do first is, again, I can show you that. That's why I'm doing all this. But I can share this now. These are just the steps. I can now share it through social media, or I can copy and paste it into an email in my CRM tool where I can broadcast it to a bunch of people right away. But now it's a shareable link. And like I said, I can now track it. And so who opened up my link? Okay, how many times has it been clicked? So,
Does it tell you who opened it, or does it
No.
tell you how many?
just how many times? It doesn't tell you. Exact contact will tell you. Now, so here's the reason why this is important to me. Because if I were actively practicing today, and I've done this by the way, but when I was doing this, I was buying URLs. You can create in Design Center at no extra cost to what you're paying now, a free single property website. So if I were actively practicing today, what day is it today? Thursday? I've got a listing presentation on Saturday. I'm going to drive to that property, and with my phone that takes really good high definition photos, and I'm saying my phone because we all have one. Truth is I'm an amateur photographer, I'd probably just take photos with my phone, well, with my camera. But I can take images with this. I'll take a picture of the house, a bunch of different angles. I'll go to the community center, take a picture of that. Go to the amenities, take a picture of that. The community park, take a picture of that. And I'm going to create a property website for that potential seller. And when I'm there, and I present my listing presentation, I'm going to say, and by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've also taken the liberty of creating your website. Let me show it to you. And show them on my iPad or my Mac, whatever I've got with me. I can even show it to them on my phone. And say, look, here's what your website currently looks like. And here are the links that I've got associated with the website. The only thing missing now is the aerial shots from the virtual tour, which I can add quite easily once we have. But I'll show them everything. I'll even have verbiage associated with the website. Okay? Cost me nothing. The URL, I shortened with Remax's URL shortener. It now reads www.rem.ax/123 King Street West. You want to see how you do it?
Yes.
All right. First of all, you go to Design Center. Okay. You click on website at the bottom. Okay. And once you click website, you end up on the exact same process as we did with Flyer. You just limit the different templates by selecting your criteria. So once you've selected your criteria, right now I'm just going to run through this with you guys. You don't have to actually follow along on your computer. Once I've selected my template, and again, we went through this with the Flyer. Once I view the sample, select the template, and what I do is I go through again, filling in this the front half, which is the info. I now start building the website by adding the photos. So I've taken, let's say, 15 or 20 photos. I don't have interior shots yet because I've not been in there. If the property was listed before and there were interior shots, can I use those pictures?
No.
Please don't use those pictures. You'd be surprised at how many of your peers have been fined because of that. So I don't have interior shots. But like I said, I've got a whole whack of them. So in my hard drive, I select them all. And then once they're in this stage, what I do is I just move them around. Notice here it says quality alert. For best results, please upload a larger or higher quality version of the image. It tells you that your image sucks. Okay? It tells you that. Now this I did on purpose because I wanted you to see that this actually cares about what the final product is going to look like. So have a decent image. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the text part. So now I just fill in all the text. And this is everything I showed you with the Flyer. All you're doing now is you're filling text. So this is important. Remember when I introduced the website to the seller, I said, here are the links that I've placed with your website. The first thing you're going to do, this is literally the first step, is you see where it says more item number 1 name. So here you're identifying the first link. In this case I put Peel Board of Education. I live in Mississauga, so that's our border. And then there's the Peel Board of Education link. So the first link in their hamburger menu on the website will be a school board. The second one is the Catholic School Board. The third one is Mississauga Transit. The fourth one is the City of Mississauga, and I believe the fifth one, the screenshot didn't capture, was my personal website. But you can make those links whatever you want. So if you've got virtual tours, if you've got aerial footage, if you've got drone, anything, it's totally up to you. Now, as I scroll down, again, oh yeah, there's my personal website. There's some additional information here, the address. Again, all I'm doing is filling in the text boxes. You'll see body copy, gorgeous and spacious, blah, 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 blah. You fill all this in as you're going. You've done all this before. Confirm your personal information is accurate. We've explained that. And then, here's where it gets good. Click preview first. So when you click preview, okay, you're going to see what it all looks like. Now, I don't have a preview screenshot here. But what I'm going to do is click publish to web. When I click publish to web, it's going to give me this window that shows me the URL, marketing.remaxdesign. It just stretches. You see where it says shorten URL? Don't click that. Because that'll just shorten it, but it won't give you a custom URL. It just shortens it. Copy it, okay? Now first of all, click OK. Okay? See the OK at the bottom left, bottom right? Just click that. But before you click OK, copy the link. Copy the link, open up rem.ax URL shortener, and follow the same steps. So create a new link. Paste that link there. Click create link. Click edit. And then click a custom URL. 10101 Abbott Avenue. Click update. Share it now. This is me sharing this on Facebook. How long did that take me? I'll be very honest with you. The first time I did this took me about half an hour because I wanted to make sure that all was good with the website. But notice how you follow the same pattern as the flyer. So once you figure the flyer part out, and once you figure out the criteria and all that other stuff, for you to do this, probably about another 15 minutes. Let's add an extra 2 minutes because you got to go to Max Center and create the custom URL, but you've done all that for free. Back in the day, I used to go to GoDaddy and pay $10 for that street name. Okay? I don't have to do that anymore. So can you imagine going up against someone who's already got a website at a listing presentation? So who here wants to try this out? I would. Now, the question I get asked all the time is, what if they decide not to go with you and go with someone else like their part-time real estate agent brother-in-law who's a full-time firefighter? Then all you got to do is go into Design Center. Just let your client know. Just say, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go and delete that project from my Design Center. Just delete it. And it never existed. But the truth is, no one knows it's there anyways until you advertise it, right? But you can literally delete it out of Design Center. Just go into your Design Center projects and just delete that website. So I really like this a lot. So like I said, I'm trying to give you guys tips of what I would be doing if I were actively practicing, because I like this idea and I'm trying to help you guys out in terms of setting yourself apart from some of the people that you have to compete against in your listing presentations. Questions, comments about that?
How do you get into this the Max Center if you've never signed in before?
Okay, that's a really good question. Send an email to ecare@remax.net. What they're going to do is they're going to send you your remax.net email account, because everybody who is affiliated with Remax has one. And then they're going to also, I think they're going to tell you how to go in and set up an account. But if I'm not mistaken, and again, it's been a long time, because once you actually access it, it's saved. So whenever you go to Launchpad and Max Center, it's saved. You don't have to keep logging in. I believe it says forgot password in there if you're setting it up again for the first time. But there is a way that you can, based on their email, get access to Max Center. But you can even be very specific about it and say, I need to get my remax.net account to access Max Center. And just ask, once I have the email account, how do I access it? And they can be very specific in their response.
So you just can't hit forget password?
Does it show it on there, forget password? Okay, then yeah, I think you can do that. So you just got to get your email. Do you know your Remax?
Yeah, it's just it's always been our first initial
and
our last name.
Try it out now. Click forgot password and see what happens. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's going to send you instructions. Now, Remember, you can track how often the link itself is clicked on, so you can say to your seller, oh, by the way, I've got this custom website, and I can tell you how often it's been clicked, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it through my social media, I'm going to advertise it this way, that way, whatever it is you do in your business to advertise property, you can include this. And the value-added benefit or your value proposition is you can actually give them real-life updates in terms of how successful that site is. All right, so here's an example of what it looks like. Okay, so there's so again, scroll down. Now, again, these are just screenshots, but imagine, if you will, the scroll button to the right. So for sale, Immaculate Mississauga Home, 979, 10101 Abbott Avenue, blah, 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 contact agent. And by the way, you see this hamburger menu in the top right? That's where all the links are. Okay, those are the links to the schools, to your website, to whatever it is you want to put in there. Okay? When it says contact an agent, when they click that, that's an automatic lead to me. So I get it on my email that someone clicked a lead through my website. Okay? And it goes directly into my lead stream. Okay? Now, here for sale again, I'm just scrolling down. Actually, what I did, sorry, I'm going to show you the top, what those links look like. So they're right there. Okay? And then as I scroll down, there's the images. There's a map of where the house is, and again, some additional images, some content, and then of course, that's me. Okay? So, let them know it's the start of the website, you can beef it up. And here's the thing, let's say for whatever reason, you have a company that creates custom websites for you anyway, but you didn't want to bother them with this, you can still go to a listing presentation and show them this. You still are going to get a custom website, you just need something in the interim to show them that you have one up and running already. Okay? And then once you get the listing signed, you can then go to your company and say, I need a custom website for 10101 Abbott Avenue. And then they just build you a new one. Okay? But this got you the listing. All right. And again, this is what it looks like when you receive a lead from that contacting agent. It actually says, congrats, John, you have a new listings lead. Here's the email or request from. They're interested in this, and please contact me about that. That's just me playing around. And then, if you don't remember the the property, there's the link. You can click the link first and see what it is that this person is wanting to know about. Okay, so a lot of information. I get it, right? But my only goal is that you pick out 2 things you didn't know before you sat down. Did I work that out so far? You guys okay? All right. Who hasn't learned anything yet? You can stay after if you want. Okay. Global.remax.com. We're in over 140 countries, 40 different languages, and every currency. Your listing, once you have it and it's up on the MLS, will automatically syndicate to remax.ca. Automatically. Okay? It'll also automatically syndicate to global.remax.com. So, here's the story for you. 2 agents went to a listing presentation. And obviously one agent wins out. So, the agent who didn't get it does what most of us do. I actually have done this over and over again, where I'll call the seller and say, listen, thank you very much for allowing me to present my listing presentation. I understand that you went with somebody else, which is totally fine. I'm happy that you found someone you trust to handle your transaction. But for future growth, I wouldn't mind knowing what it is that I didn't do, that you didn't go with me. And this is just, again, for my personal growth. And the agent did that, called and wanted to get some feedback, and the seller said, no, you were perfect. You were great. But the other agent said that they have access to an international website where our listing will be featured, and we believe that our buyer will be coming from overseas. Okay? So, both agents who competed for the listing were RE/MAX agents. One agent knew how to push global.remax.com, the other agent didn't know how to push it. The other agent got the listing because of that. I'm not saying it's going to happen all the time, but in today's world, let your sellers know that you have access to an international website. Because I'll tell you one thing, Sotheby's, you guys all know what Sotheby's is? They push themselves as this international company. And they're constantly pushing that. Oh, we're international, we have access to all these different things. You do as well, right? So global.remax.com, you can go onto that now, and you can see it in different languages, and you can see it in different denominations as well. So again, if I were actively practicing today, here's what I'm going to say to my seller. And by the way, because we're in a multicultural neighborhood, Mr. and Mrs. Sellers, what I'm going to do is make sure that when we have people coming through, I'm going to have your listing in different languages that we see in this community. Because I'm going to print those listings from Remax on global.remax.com. Now, the entire listing doesn't get printed in that language. Sections of it does. But it still looks really cool.
How did you get on Global Remax?
Just type in global.remax.com. So, I live in a very, very multicultural area. And again, Mississauga to Brampton to Malton isn't a big stretch. But if I'm working in an area where there's, again, a bunch of different cultures, I'm going to say to my seller, here's what I can do. I'm going to print it. Now, I'm not just going to say it to my seller. I'm going to show them all the listings I've done it for in the past. I'm going to show them in my listing presentation the websites I've created for the last listing I did, the brochure, the book, the feature book I did for that particular property, the stuff I've done on Design Center, and I'm going to pull out all the different listings I've had where I've printed out those listings in different languages, and I'm going to show them what I've done. Who else is doing that? So if you think that's going to help you, there you go. Yep.
I might have missed what you said. If you is your listing automatically going on there?
Yeah, once it hits the MLS and it's syndicated to remax.ca, it syndicates to global.remax.com. Okay.
How do you, because I just tried like a country, is there a way you can narrow it down within that country? Because like it just comes up.
Oh,
you need 500 listings.
Yeah, you'd have to zoom in, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Can you zoom in?
I don't know, I'm just on all the listings.
Yeah.
Is there a way to get on the map?
I think you can type in, like where it says, I think you can type in, you typed in the country, but it's the country, right?
No,
so,
well, it's a list like, okay, there's Dominican.
Yes.
And so I have 2 listings down in Dominican.
Okay.
So how do people find it? Like, do they have to know the address and the this and that? Like,
can you type in a city? Can you type in area of the Dominican?
That's what I went. Okay, let me try.
We can try it. Okay. Try typing just an area of the Dominican and see what happens. Because I'm pretty sure you can do that. I'm hoping you can do that. Because again, it would just be too broad. Because people searching in any country would be searching for one particular area, right? So I suspect, can you zoom in? There's got to be like a plus minus at the bottom right of the map. Pretty sure
there's not a map. It's just like squares of a map.
I'll go back to the map.
Did you figure it out? Oh, okay. Yes. I thought you were on the map.
I was in Dominican.
Okay, while they're figuring that out, let me know, because I thought you were on Matthew already. My mistake. Any other, you have a question?
How did you say that you did feature sheets or anything in another language?
Yeah, so it's not a feature sheet as you and I know it to be a feature sheet. What it is literally the listing, okay, and the contents of that listing, but parts of the listing are printed in that language. So not necessarily the numbers or anything, but some of the text. So again, I would say about 30% of it is going to be in that other language.
And how do you get that?
Oh, so what you do is you type in the address. So you type in your address, right? And then you type in, you see to the right where it says English? Just change that to another language. So change it to Arabic, whatever, yeah. Whatever there, yeah. And then again, you can change the denomination. I would change that from USD to just, Canadian, right? Okay. All right, moving on. Just a few more slides left. We're actually on time, which is great. So, Canada Post. If you've taken advantage of this program in the past, you'll know how easy it is to do. I believe, Mr. Waterfront, you have, right? Yeah, excellent. So, you can be a testament to this. It's not that difficult. The only thing I ask you to do is when you're going through the 4 steps, because if you haven't done this before, there's 4 steps to do this. And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, but here you start off with clicking the Canada Post, then you get my order, and then 4 easy steps to create my order, and then here you'll see the top right, you'll see steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. So step 1 is obviously this page. The only thing I ask you to do is to please pay attention to the fields that require input. Because I've received a number of phone calls, and I have no problems helping people out over the phone. If you want to call me, call me. If I'm not teaching, I'll do my best to respond to you right away, of course. But there are a number of times where people say, I can't click the next step. I can't go to the next step. And that's because they overlook the field. Okay? So just go through the fields and make sure that field is important. But it literally is just 4 steps. Okay? And like I said, depending on what it is you're sending out, you can get as low as about 9.5 cents. Yep? Yes. Yes, that's right. So good point. If you have a pop-up blocker disabled on your computer, which most of us do, to be honest with you, and sometimes the browser comes with it automatically, so you have to disable your pop-up blocker. Thank you for that. So it's not broken. Just disable your pop-up blocker for the time you're using anything, not just Canada Post, but if you require pop-ups for what it is you're looking at, just disable your pop-up blocker. So thank you for that. All right, now, partners and perks.
Are you allowed to do, you know how it's saying you have to do the first 2 letters of the postal code?
That's the FSA.
Can you do, let's say your Christmas cards or something and they're all over the place? No?
What do you mean they're all over? You mean just this part of this postal code and that part of another?
Well, I was just wondering if you could take advantage of the 9 cents sending out like 50 of your Christmas cards to your...
Oh yeah, no, this is unaddressed. It's all unaddressed. Yeah, good question though. So partners and perks, again, we're hitting the trail end of this Launchpad presentation. Partners and perks, I never used to promote this until, I think it was 2 presentations ago, I started including this because not a lot of us know it's there. So I showed you in the marketing section where we partner up with certain vendors like Contactually and Exact Contact and Top Producer. But if you click partners and perks, there are other programs that we're involved in that will allow you to take advantage of their discounts. So our newest one is, you can't see it, but it's UPS. Oh, it's actually on the next page. UPS has a discount that they're offering to RE/MAX agents. But please check back to partners and perks as well, often because we do our very best to increase the number of partners we have. Smith Printing Innovations, again, if you're looking for a printing company, we've got a discount with them. But again, I just want to make sure you guys are aware that this is here. The other thing I want to show you is the learning and development. So if you're looking for more training, you can either, 1, do what we're doing today and bring me out to your brokerage where I will do custom training for you guys. Or if you want, you can take advantage of a number of other things. We talked about RE/MAX University already. Take Flight, I mentioned briefly at the beginning. Quick starts. Quick starts happen every other Monday. So if you want to review Launchpad, it's really a summary of what we're doing today. It's only an hour. So I go through everything in very high level. And that happens every other Monday. Learn to Earn is where I go out across Ontario and Atlantic Canada, and instead of doing a course at Integra, we would go to other vendors like here, for example, invite all RE/MAX agents, and I would typically do a core course in the morning, and what we're doing this year, I've added a panel in the afternoon. So if I did a social media course in the morning, the afternoon panel will be social media experts, your peers who've been successful with social media, and showing you, and answering your questions as a panel discussion. Okay? So look out for that. And then we've got things like office training, which we've talked about. Next level training is if you're an advanced agent and you're looking at ways to improve your business, we bring specific topics to you. The last next level session we did was Michael Thorne and Jesse Peters at Integra. It was a 2-day video course on how to apply video to your business. And that typically comes at a cost. It's usually about $299 or $399 depending on the course and the amount of topic and the amount of days we need. But that really is next level training for agents who want to go from here to here. Okay? Now, this is very, very new, RE/MAX Hustle. Write down remaxhustle.com. This is some fun stuff. I really like this because this has been around in the West Coast for a while. So you guys know how RE/MAX works, right? So there's RE/MAX LLC up here. They're like the mothership of all RE/MAX. And then below LLC is a bunch of Integras. Integra happens to be the largest of the master franchisors. But in the West Coast, again, they've had this, which we're now bringing to, it's available now. You can create a custom commercial, you can create what's called a hustle graphic, and you can create a welcome map for your new homeowner. So I want to show you what commercial looks like. I don't know if you guys have done this already. Has anyone done this? No? This is up and running for you right now. Oh, so I didn't even say that. I didn't even say, no, that's okay. So here is a 15-second commercial that you can create now. What you do is, you go to, and by the way, you can access this through Launchpad. Right beside the new Beach Street tile is RE/MAX Commercial. And when you click on that, actually you want to click on it now, you're going to see the different things that you can pick. They're step by step. So it'll ask you to pick your song, it'll ask you to input your contact information, and then upload your image. So there's my image up there. And if you can click play with me. That's kind of fun. I like that. I would put that on social media all day long, right? But the trophy, the Margaret Trophy was 12 years of experience. And then again, you just pick what you want to show on the commercial. The next thing is the hustle graphics. This is a lot of fun too because people just don't want to see you in a dark suit with a tie. People want to see the human side of you now, especially in today's marketplace with the ever-changing consumer. I remember back in the day when my mom and dad were looking for a lawyer, an accountant, and a real estate professional, and you better have a dark suit and a tie on. But now things have changed. People want to see the human side of who you are because now they want to be able to relate to who you are because that builds this trust. So here, again, you're inputting your own personal data. So my hustle graphic would look like this. It would be 12 months of RE/MAX Hustle. So this is my last 12 months. Okay. Now, of course, some of this is made up because I haven't practiced in 24 months, but let's say I did 15 homes sold. I bought 7 homes for buyers. I did 2 commercial properties in 3 neighborhoods, again, 12 years of experience. I did 27 open houses last year. I love open houses, by the way. My hustle song is Enjoy the Silence. I drove up 15,000 miles last year. I know it's not in kilometers, I apologize. I had 150 car lunches. You guys eat a lot of lunches in cars. You guys know you do, right? 10 Miracle Home properties sold. My number 1 open house treat are cookies. And I drink 15 cups of coffee basically weekly. So that is something, again, you can put up on social media. It's a lot of fun, right? You can do whatever you want with this now. But this is literally available to you right now as we speak. This, I'm still trying to figure this out. Again, it's so new that this is the one. I got really excited about the other 2 things. I haven't really paid much attention to the welcome mat. It's a digital welcome mat. It's not what you order and they get. It's a digital welcome mat. I'm sorry. But you can get real ones. You know that, right? You can get real ones. This is just a digital welcome mat that you can give to, or you can send to your seller or your buyer, whoever it is it's usually your buyer, a new homeowner. So again, I haven't really figured this one out yet, but I'm sure I will given time. Now that you know it's there, you guys can figure out how that will work for you. But I kind of really paid more attention to this and this. I kind of like those 2 things. And then Max Perks. So like I said, Max Perks is a consumer discount program. This launched on the 23rd. What's the date today? Yesterday. This launched yesterday. So Max Perks is a discount program for your consumers. So if your consumer needs any of these products, you can now offer to them at a discounted rate.
I just needed that yesterday.
It launched yesterday. So I'm sorry I wasn't here yesterday. But this is stuff now that you can present, again, as a value-added benefit to them working with you. Part of your value proposition. You hear that word all the time, value proposition. I didn't want to scare you with it at the very beginning, but as we piece together everything we talked about today, do you see how your value proposition just went from here to here when it comes to working with buyers and sellers? All the different things you have access to. Okay? Please don't let it intimidate you. Start with one thing. Okay? Now, the last pile is RE/MAX Cares. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Question. Max Perks,
in Parker Center?
No, it's not a part. There's no tile for it. Can you try maxperks.com? Can you try that? I was just told it was being. Yeah. Oh, is that the code that we were talking about before? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the way it works is, I don't have the slide here. I wish I did, but I will add it. The way it works is, you actually give your code to the consumer, and the consumer accesses maxperks.com, inputting your code, and they just take advantage of whatever's there. Oh, this, you know what? This came from a presentation, so I don't know where it is, where you guys in either Launchpad. I don't know if it's in Launchpad. I actually don't think it is. So I apologize for that. Again, I'm just presenting this now as it's come to light that it's started. Yep.
Is there any kind of a partnership with Blue Jay tickets or theater tickets?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, good question. The question is, are there partnerships with other things like sporting events? Or what was the other thing about?
Theater tickets.
Theater tickets. Yeah. That's a good question. I would hope so, but I don't know. I'm not aware of any. Can you do me a favor, send me an email on that? You have my email, so just remind me to go take that up the ladder. Because if you guys get it, then I get it. So I wouldn't mind getting that too. Okay. So I've got to figure out where MaxPerks is from an agent perspective. On the app? Okay. All right. Okay. But I do know that the process is you would give your code to your agent, to your consumer. The consumer then accesses it, accesses maxperk.com, and then they would input your code.
It's in the blog.
It's in the blog. Okay, great.
maxperks.ca.
Thank you. So, do you guys remember the 4 widgets?
Yes.
Okay. If you look at the 3rd one from the right, which is My Feeds, it should be in there, if I'm not mistaken. And that'll give you far more information about the MaxPerks program. Okay, so go back to your 4 widget, your splash page, if you will. And then, is it there? You guys see it? Yeah. I remember doing a screenshot of that.
Yeah, there it is right there.
So the Miracle Home Network, this is the last one. If you're not part of this already, I do encourage you to consider it. I'm a big believer in just giving back anyway. It doesn't always have to be this. I'm not going to force this on you. I contribute a lot to the Cancer Society and to diabetes because my personal life, I've got people who suffer through those illnesses. But if you want, again, the Children's Miracle Network is a partnership that we've been having for years, that we've had for years with them. This, again, you can be a new donor or an existing donor and change your contribution per commission check. We have contributed a lot of money to this charitable foundation, and it's a really, really good cause. There are stories out there where 2 agents being equal, 1 agent actually gets the listing or the contract because of their ability to give back, right, to their community. Give where you live. You've heard that before. It can be whatever it is you want to be a part of. But here's what I do know about today's consumer. Actually, do you guys know who today's consumer is in terms of the majority of millennials? Millennials are concerned about making sure they work with the right people. And the right people to them are people who give back. But it has to be a genuine thing. Don't just pick a charity and say, oh, I give back, I give to this. Because they'll see right through you. You have to be passionate about the charity that you work with. So like I said, I'm not going to force this one on you, but if there is a charity that you do feel passionately about, then I can encourage you to contribute to that. And let them know, right, that this is what you do. Because it's not just for selfish reasons that, oh, I do this. You're actually making sure that you're actually doing them a favor as well by letting them know that you're concerned about this particular charity and that you give back to it. Okay? People do all. Yeah? They should. My understanding is they give you a tax. You haven't done a tax receipt? No? Okay, so they do send a tax receipt. I don't know why. Do you have until February? I think you have until February, right? Pardon me? I think it's the end of February. The end of February. So, I'm trying to figure out who you can send it. Do you guys know who your contact is for that? If not, send me an email. So here's my email, by the way. I keep saying send me an email. That's me. JMACDOC@remaxintegra.com. Okay, so where I ask you to send me an email, please send me an email to remind me to follow up on that task for you. I gotta change that photo to a skiing photo, because it's gotta be a seasonal image, right? I skied for the first time yesterday. I made my way to Mount St. Louis Moonstone. The first time year I skied. There was nobody there. So within an hour and a half, I think I did like 25 runs. And then I said, you know what? The 26th run, I'll end up in the hospital, so I'll leave it alone.
You need to move up here.
You know what? My wife and I were this close to moving up to Collingwood, because that's kind of our life. We like the outdoors, but kids, they ruin your life, right? So, my kids are on the other side. They're my older one's in Laurier. My younger one is counting down the days until he goes to Laurier. So once they're out there, we'll probably have to live out there for a couple of years, and then we'll definitely find a way out here. I know a lot of my friends are moving out to Barrie. I just have I have a business partner that I work with. I've given all my clients to her, and we just bought a place up here for clients. Barrie's a great place. Okay, so how are we for time? Oh, look at that, on time. Questions, comments, rude remarks. Did you guys find? I know we asked questions as we were going along, but did I cover most of those questions? And again, with follow-up questions, you can send me an email. But did you learn one or two things? Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you did. Jack, did you take attendance?
Yes, I did.
Okay, great. I'm going to steal that from Jack. Is anyone going to be here with me this afternoon or with us this afternoon? Yeah. Okay, great. That's Lead Street. So we're going to be really focused on that. That is very interactive. So I know that you all have access to Launchpad now, which is great. So we'll access Lead Street through Launchpad. I will see you guys at, yeah?
Is the CRM at towards the end, or is it at the beginning?
It's like the whole thing.
Oh,
This Lead Street, in my personal opinion, Lead Street isn't so much the fact that it's our new lead platform. I push the CRM part of it, like throughout the whole presentation. So why? Do you have to leave at a certain point?
Well, I don't use, I use iZap, so.
Oh, so do I. But I'll tell you why you want to consider using both.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a notification, I don't know if this should be a question later, but I've had the Ask Remax app on my phone, and I've used it before, and I just got a text saying, no reply at this thing, and rather than it coming up in my app in any way or form. I got a text saying, a contact us request is null.
Oh.
And rather than it being like in my app,
Yeah.
I'd have to
Okay.
do something with an email, but it's my own email, I did a test, right?
Okay.
While we were doing it.
I'm wondering if that's part of the updates. I don't have an entry, sorry, but support at remaxintegra.com. Sorry. But if you want, again, I'd send me an email, take a screenshot of that and send it to me, and what I'll do is I'll take it to support to myself, because I wouldn't mind knowing the answer to that as well. Right? So I don't want to, like, if it comes up again, I need to know how to address it. All right. All right, guys. Thanks so much.